Here we're back. I want to talk about the return of Jesus Christ. So the return of Jesus Christ. Jesus is coming back, but most people haven't understood, don't get it, but he is going to come back, whether people like it or not. So he's coming back. Today I had a thought that dropped in my mind. Most people don't know that God exists. They go by science, education, life experience. Life teaches them a lot, and people learn. They live in evolving communities. There's so much that people have tools. There's so many tools at their disposal that they can just refute the existence of a creator, and their life will not reveal that there could be something missing in that ideology. So that's what I'm talking about here. To people who don't give God a place, or they don't feel like, yes, there is a God. Even if I know what I know, even if I've built success, even if I'm able to sustain myself for the next 50 years, my next generation is going to be even able to sustain themselves off of what I'm doing. And you don't see the necessity of believing in a God because you feel like everything has been handled, everything is covered. You've thought of so many ways to prevent, your generation from how do you call it? Extinction. So, okay, to the person who's thinking that is, well, science is finding things that is confirming more and more the existence of God. The human body was designed in a way that it's a huge machine. DNA structure, the cell structure in a human body is super advanced. It's almost like someone designed a huge machine, but started from the very, very smallest, the smallest of the smallest, like things that we were never able to know before. Like people, when they were dying off of germs and people thought it was witchcraft, turned out it was just things we could not see with our naked eye until we started developing technology that was showing us that there are there's a part of a human body that's so small and tiny that lives inside of a human that we cannot see with our eyes because of how I think our focal limitation. We can't really zoom into the deep side of the human body. So there's so many things that we learned over time and showed us that there's more to who we are. There's more about us that we don't understand. That is confirming that there is an intelligent designer behind everything. You see, the existence of God has, precede science and precedes the things we know today. But these things that we've come to understand, it's basically catching up to what we know, to what is to the reality that we live in. You see, every human being came to earth, was born and came and found the earth here. The question is, where did all this come from? So we're basically trying to catch up with everything that has been there before. It's not like we know. Like there's a difference between being somewhere that you know. Like if I built a house and I'm sitting in the house, I won't have any question about it because it started while I was there, and I was, I won't even. There's not gonna be I won't struggle to be in that house. I won't have limitations if I want to do anything in that house because I know how it started and I was there. But the earth is different. We have so many questions about why are we here? Where are we from? What's my purpose? That's a different question if it's a place that you started with in the beginning, because you will have all those answers. Lacking those information shows us that there's a disconnection between owning the place and being invited in that place. You see, it means there's a reality of earth that does not begin with us, and we have made earth us. We've made earth about us, and we're trying to basically answer questions by not asking why earth first, but then us. We're just trying to understand why us then earth. It's not why earth then us. It's basically we're flipping the questions, which is not the way. It's not gonna answer the real question of why are we here. We are running on earth as if we own the place, and we are eliminating the idea that God exists quickly because we want to do whatever we want on this earth. It's so backward because we're doing things on this earth without even understanding the earth itself. What is this place, and why was it made in the beginning? What was the plan, and how do we fit in this plan? What was the purpose of us being here? That's where God comes into the picture, because people before understood this place as it is has a designer, has someone who is responsible of this place being here. Everyone who sees a house, you will know there is someone responsible of the house, who made and conceived the idea of that house, and that person is the one to ask anything to do with that house, because it cannot be built without an intentional mind behind it. So that's exactly how earth is, and that's how creation is. So there's an intentional being behind it, and that being is God. Science is discovering his fingerprint in everything. And surprise, even the human body also has a fingerprint of God in it. We are discovering structures in the DNA in the human body that is impossible to have found. If you look into how the body was designed, the DNA, the structure on the molecular level, it just blows your mind that there is actually an intentional being who designed everything to fit and to work exactly the way it is. Technology in 2026 is so far advanced that we're making phones that are almost the size, the thickness of a school ruler. Like, we're so much advanced now that we can place a tiny we can place like almost like a foot, like 10 football field of data into a very, very tiny, smaller than a grain of rice. We can actually fit that much how do I say it? That much information on a very tiny piece of metal that's so small, smaller than the grain of the rice grain. It shows us that we can do bigger things on a very, very tiny scale. And it looks like someone did this before in conceiving or creating everything around us. The trees, like everything alive, has a design where it starts small, and everything in the smallest at the smallest scale, it contains too much information that it's too big to fit in all the libraries of the world. The human body contains a lot of information when you scale down to the very, very to the very smallest details that is inside the body. The cells, the structure, the DNA. It's even deeper, because you realize there are mechanics inside the body that looks exactly like mechanical parts that people build in machines. It's just advanced, and it begs the question of, we have a designer, an engineer behind creation, behind all of it. How can we leave that detail outside of what we do? How can we live our lives without a direct communication, a direct communication in everything that we do? And that's God. People used to worship before. People understood, and God was more. So the question is, people usually ask, like, okay, where is God? I cannot see him. God has evolved. I don't know if I should really use the term evolve, but God is a being much, much more higher, much more advanced. He is the engineer of all engineering. Like, he created everything. So his skill is at the maximum. It's basically everything you dream of when it comes to engineering, and he knows and understands everything. So we're talking about the ultimate being who has all knowledge, power, everything. When you actually want to understand everything, it's like you cannot remove him out of the picture, because he made all that we are making right now. We are just discovering how creation is, the potential that he has, because when we discover all this, it's not outside of what is inconceivable. It's still within what he made. So we are just discovering it, because it's almost like a bird is born with the ability to fly, with the potential to fly, and until it learns how to fly. Nobody has to teach it, but it has the potential. So everything around us carries evidence of an intelligent designer. We are just learning that he exists. The same way as we are, we have hands, we have feet to help us run, to do things, until we do these things, then we are, that's how our body were designed to do these things. Where do we learn this from? God gives us all we need to do that. All the evidence are pointing that he designed it. We're just slow to catch up to the reality. My proposition to whoever who's listening, if you're skeptic in God being true, you're agnostic, you're an atheist, whatever it is your position, you are a miracle. You are the very evidence of an engineer, the ultimate engineer with, the creator of everything. You are that evidence that you're looking for, because you don't know why we were here first, why this earth was here first. There's so many questions that we are catching up with. So assuming that there is nothing outside of what you know is somehow illogical, because you are basically closing all the potential answers of being of God existing based on your limits of information, and you feel very insecure about not knowing that what you know is not enough, is not all there is to know. There's some ego part of our lives where we want to carry information, and we feel like this information makes me powerful, or give me a heads up in so many things. I can lead, I can find, I'm ahead. It gives you basically a boost. I know that the listeners are really getting where my point. Like, you give up what you think you know, because you are holding on yourself too much when all you know is not all there is to know, and it's not all that you will ever know. Because everything that we have learned down on earth has been discoveries. Discovery, the term discover, it means you are basically finding things. It's not like you are creating things that are new. You are in a place that preceded you, which means findings means you have things you're looking through. You're looking for something, and you cannot look for something within nothing. You have to look for something inside of something, and this something means most of the time that you don't have the full understanding about it. So that's why you're doing findings. You have discoveries. And when we understand in that concept, that's where we make room that God fits the description of that, space where we leave it for finding and discovering. God is that's where He is. So when you're open to that idea, and you actually attach evidences of an intelligent designer, you find Him to be truly there. You find there is actually someone if you want to list what makes this, creation, why does it require, and why are we using the term like there is an intelligent designer? Like there's actually a human, almost like a person who designed it intentionally with, who had process, like thoughtful process. You see it. You see how the tree is. You see how the how the fruit is growing on a tree. Like there's a process, almost like a human being process, and you realize, hold on a second, this is exactly like the way we think, until you start to understand that, isn't this exactly how intelligence works? Until also we read the Bible, make man in our image. That is exactly fitting the description of, oh, that's exactly why we are. So if what we are doing is exactly the copy of how the Creator is, then you understand, oh, okay, we are made in His image. If we are being of intelligence, He is also an intelligence designer, because we are made in His image. And you have so many evidence around that are showing that there is an intelligence design in all of creation. Things don't just happen randomly. Things are so much in harmony, the way things exist. The tree, they rest well on the ground, in the soil, and the roots are doing things in the ground, that these two are separated at the same time, but they're still connected, and one is interdepending on each other. We live on earth and we breathe oxygen, and it's basically it's like everything is well tuned, that it's almost like somebody made sure everything makes sense. Everything is in relationship with each other, and in a very complementary way, that nothing else other than intelligence in an intelligent designer did this. So I just want to leave you with the thoughts of ponder in your life, if there's things that you do without the need of saying out loud or telling people that you did it. So you just sometimes want things to be there, to be done in a very productive way, without even you shouting and telling everyone, I did it. You just sometimes, we just want to make something work, and period. People do not need us to be, to be called names or be famous or anything like that. We're not seeking for fame. Sometimes we're just seeking for productivity, for success, and once that's there, period. And exactly, I feel like God is not visible because He's done successful things, and everything that he does not need to come in the picture, because everything is going to work. He doesn't need to show up as if what He did will fail. That's why He is still there behind in the curtain, but we cannot see Him physically, because that will involve that will actually involve Him to keep working until the work is finished. But I think creation is finished. It's a completely consumed project that was completed after 7 days, and that's it. Everything was done till today. See, and God designed everything to be able to work. Today we crave His presence, but I believe that even if we're also alone, we are in a successful creation project that God is He has a supervision, but we are able to run the show and the game. However, though, when we are running it by ourselves, we tend to ignore that there is a manual, there is a way things are done in harmony. We get corrupted and we do things that we should not do. And then the way God designed us, we violate those laws, and we violate why He made us the way He did and who we are. We violate the our rights, and we don't even understand. And that's where life is tough, because when we are violating all these things in place that was placed by our ultimate engineer, life is going to be hard. Sin is something that is an example of things not aligning to the way God designed life, and that brings a lot of issues in people's lives. I'm gonna leave you with these ideas in this conversation, and we'll continue to explore more into, okay, now there is grounds for a creator. What's next? Thank you so much. My name is Gavin, and I love sharing ideas and thought about God. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day.